Hey girls, it's Monday. Oh my god, this is the third time I've recorded this video. This week's theme is childhood. So I guess I will describe what I was like when I was a kid to you all. I was a really shy, introverted kid. I read a lot. One of my crowning achievements when I was a kid was reading 130 something books for the MS Readathon. I was a really active kid. Like, I went to circus school for 2 or 3 years with my nephew, and that was really cool. And my speciality was clowning, and I did tightrope walking. I also did cartoon drawing classes and pottery classes, and I went to drama school at St. Martin's. I even did ballet for 6 months when I was a really little kid, but I told my parents I didn't like the makeup, so I quit. I was also in the Australian girls choir for a little while, and I learnt to play the cello when I was a kid, the cello and the trumpet. I was really into jazz trumpet when I started playing, and but since I graduated high school I haven't played as much because I didn't get into orchestras or anything, and I decided not to go down the music path. One thing that was really major in my life when I was a kid was that I travelled a lot. Like, I first went overseas when I was 8 months old, and actually the first country I went to was Japan when I was just a wee little baby. I think I've been to 27 countries now, and a large majority of those were in between the ages of 8 months old to about 13. A lot of the travelling occurred within Asia, and that's kind of accounts for a lot of my personality nowadays. One thing that's really funny, especially on an exchange program, you'd think as a Western person I'd kind of understand the viewpoints of American, European types more than I would Japanese students, but quite often I find myself agreeing with the cultural sensibilities of the students from Japan rather than the American students, and I think that's because I spent so much time in like Hong Kong, Tianjin and stuff when I was a kid that it's really rubbed off on my personality and the way I see the world. And also Australia isn't a very individualist country. So apart from travelling, one thing that my parents really introduced as a part of my life when I was a kid was the theatre and classical music. When I was a kid I went to a lot of plays that were really out of my league. Like when I think I was about 9, I went to this really avant-garde production of Henry V, and there were naked people everywhere. But that high amount of exposure to live theatre has really given me a love of performing arts. And the same goes for classical music and jazz. My parents took me to a lot of classical music and jazz concerts when I was a kid, and it's definitely reflected in my taste now. So when I was a kid I collected a lot of stuff. Apart from my over 1,000 book collection, I also collected Pokemon figurines, the Sailor Scouts figurines when I was a kid. I collected Tarzos, I collected soft toys, and I still buy a lot of soft toys now, actually. When I was in my final year of junior school, I was library captain, and that was my crowning achievement in junior school, and it wasn't embarrassing. Like, it sounds like something that should be embarrassing. Oh my god, she was library captain. But it was a real thing of pride. Some weird things about me when I was a kid. I was really obsessed with keeping tallies for like a year when I learned how to do tallies. I think I vomited 37 times or something, and I kept a tally on when I got fizz whizzes. Occasionally you get rainbow coloured fizz whizzes, so I counted how many times I did that, got that. I think it was something like 42. And I used to be really obsessed with joke books, so I memorised like 2 joke books back to back and would tell these terrible, absolutely terrible, lame jokes all the time. I guess another theme of my childhood was because I was travelling with my parents quite a lot, I would be at posh functions with my parents or with my dad's colleagues or people he was working for, and I would just tell them all these embarrassing stories about my dad's past or really bad jokes and stuff. And what that's kind of meant for me now is that I'm a lot more comfortable talking in a formal situation than I am talking to people maybe closer to my age. When I was a kid, part of the reason I was shy was because I wasn't used to talking to people my age, so I didn't know how to relate to people, and that's kind of been a theme in my life. Even now when I'm put in a casual social situation with people in my age group, I tend to clam up a little bit, and even though obviously now I have more tools to deal with it, I think that had a big impact on my life. But my parents treating me like I was an adult when I was a kid kind of allowed me to respect intellect a bit more or something, I think, and that's good. Well, apparently I rambled for way too long, so I'm just going to say goodbye now and edit my 10 minutes or so worth of things into one cognate video, and yeah, thanks for the good topic, Captain, and I'm sorry that I've rambled, but I will cut it down to like 5 minutes at least. Love you all, looking forward to your videos, and sorry if this video was uploaded late. Bye! Bye!